Hello artists, how are you today? I am going to try to show you how to do this Coptic binding. It's not a standard Coptic binding, or if it is, I couldn't find it. So I kind of took a couple different processes and put it together myself. It came out quite successful, but I want to be able to try to show you how to do it. And this is what it looks like when it's done. So it's a Modified Coptic Binding Braid, I think is what I'm going to call it. However, when I was starting this out, I started from back to front, and the back got a little clumsy feeling, but I had to put an extra knot in there in order to make it tight enough. And that was one thing that I really wanted, was a tight binding for my book. I didn't want something that was super loose. So I love how it has turned out. I think it's just stunning, and it flips pages super easy, and I think it's a very powerful ending to a powerful book. But now I've got to try to figure out how to teach you how to do this. That's going to be the hard part, because yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you on a different little book here. So I have, this is just standard watercolor paper. This is a Strathmore watercolor, 12 sheets. It's 140-pound paper. I'm going to be starting a new project over at Patreon, and this is what the pages are going to be made out of. Now, I do have some paint on some of these pages. I've drawn on some of these pages. Not worried about that at all, because I will be covering all the pages. I think I'll do 10 pages. What I did was I found a small book. I'm looking to do something that's smaller than what I usually do. This was a very beat up dictionary. I think it was, I don't know if that's Russian to English, not positive. I pulled off the, I cut off the book binding itself, and I'm just going to go along the edge here and give it a little torn edge for some texture. This is quite beat up. That's okay. Like I said, the whole book will end up getting covered. But I just thought these were kind of a cool front and back to my new book that I'm going to be creating. The paper that I had was 9 by 12, so my pages are a little bit smaller than the book. I'm good with that. When I was doing all of the individual pages for this book, there's 30 pages in here. I made a template, and the template I made off of the pages so that I could line it up, and I could make the exact same hole on every single page. And then I also did that over here. So just a very simple template is all you need. I did it 1/4 of an inch in. And made all my holes before I got started. With this one, what I did was, it is 6 inches long, and I'm only going to do 2 holes on this one because that's plenty. And I went 1.5 inches up and 1.5 inches up. So yeah, what I did from there, or what I will do now, is I will take my awl here. It's a nice little sharp pokey tool. A book binding kit is a really helpful thing. It's a very wonderful kit, and I'll link one down for you in the Amazon links. But I got 3 different types of, this is waxed wax string. I've received, I think, 9 needles, 3 of each size, an owl, one of these guys, bone folder. So a binding kit is really, really handy to have. So, like I said, I did a template for the other ones, and then here I'm not doing a template, and then all of a sudden it's like getting wonky on me. I'm like, no wonky. So I'm just poking a hole through and then giving a little bit extra room. It does make it easier to do the project if you have enough space to thread the needles through. We do a double thread, so you need something a little bit wider. So I'm going to finish doing this real quick, and then we will come right back here. Just a second. Okay, for this next stage, I am eyeballing this. I generally would prefer not to eyeball something, as you guys know. But I think that is pretty darn close to a 1/4 inch above and a 1/4 inch below. Pretty close. And then in order to make sure that our book lines up properly, because I want my covers to line up exact. So if you want your covers to line up exact, you have to take your measurement from cover to cover, not from page to cover, because you could easily put this down wrong, off. And if this is off, then your won't line up straight. Know what I mean? Know what I mean, jelly beans? Okay, so I'm just putting a little extra hole through here. A little extra through here, give it a little more space, especially with these covers. They do end up getting wrapped 2 times, I believe. We'll see what it's gonna take. You know, the first time I did it was pretty clunky. I'm gonna hope for less clunkiness with this one. Now I'm just going through and, ow, trying not to poke my arm off. Just making those holes just a little bit bigger. I don't want to use a hole punch. I could probably use my leather punch, but I feel like those holes would get too big. So nobody likes a big hole, right? Or too big of a hole, and then it just looks wrong. Okay, so there we go. Step 1 was cutting out the paper to size of your book. And Patreons, we're gonna do just a small book. So find a small book, or you can easily cut, you know, cardboard to size. You don't actually have to have a book. Right. Okay, so I'm just gonna choose some of this string. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna go 8 feet because I don't want to run out. It's a waxed thread. It's interesting stuff. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now my craft sheet is exactly 2 feet wide, so pretty easy for me to figure that out. Here, we are taking our needle. If you just kind of do your little wax thread like that, flatten it. It does kind of flatten. Don't overdo it, or you'll take all the wax off and then you got issues. And don't get it caught up in your scissors. And you'll get the wax doing that stuff. It's kind of a pain in the behind, but it does work out well. So, okay, scissors, you gotta go. What the heck? Stop it. Okay. I'm sure y'all have threaded a needle before. We are going to leave a little bit of extra there. Now, the reason I ended up cutting off the threads when I did that book, and the reason I cut them off was because they were kind of getting in the way. So I'm going to see if I can kind of scooch them under there. So I have, for 10 pages, I have about 4 feet, yes, 4 feet of thread here. Okay, so that's one needle. And then we'll go through and do the second needle the same way. Okay. So when I'm doing my book, and you'll see this because I'll cut to it, I have all of the pages sitting this way, I think. Not really positive, can't remember. I must have had them this way. And then, you know, I just had to be extra careful about what page was going next to what. I was always double checking to make sure all the pages were right side up. You just have to take your time with it. There was one page that I had missed, like that one. One of the times I did it, I redid this probably 4 times before I really got rolling with it. It was definitely a process. So we're gonna hopefully try to see if we can make it a little bit easier for you. All right. So, what I'm going to do is, here's my book, and I've got all my pages lined up. I've got top to bottom, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over here. Can you see that? Okay. All right, I can get rid of this now. This is very helpful when you're punching holes. This is an old dictionary, nothing that is special or precious to me. Those, you know, it helps to have like an old phone book or something like that, a catalog, whatever it takes, because as that owl goes through, it does need to go through some soft paper in order to push all the way through. Okay. It does help to have as clean a desk as possible when you're playing with all this string, and you know that my desk is never really completely clean. So we have one off to one side, one off to the other. Here we go. Whew. Okay, we got our back page and our back page. Actually, let's just take this page first here and see. What we're going to do is we're going to take our needle up. I'm going to pull it through. And we're going to go through the loop. Don't go through the loop until you're at the very end, because everything will get twisted. So it's a very simple way to tie it on. Here is where I think you could probably hide these strings pretty easily. And in fact, what I'm going to do with these strings is I'm going to tape them down, because they will get in the way. Guarantee it, but I can't find any tape because it's my desk. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on it then. I just don't want these puppies getting wrapped up. Just put a little tape on it, put a little whatever. I know I'm going to cover up this whole back of this, so I just want it to stick down. And stay out of my way. Stay out of my way. Of course, that probably wasn't the right thing to do, but oh well. Okay, use a little bit of tape. All right, we're going to take this one. We're going to go over the top here. We're pulling it through. When we get down to the bottom, we're bringing it in. And then we're pulling that as tight as we can. See, these threads are a little bit of a beast. So we go over the top, back underneath, and we pull on through. This is why I didn't want to do 3 to show you, because this takes a long time. This is not a fast process. Okay, I'm not liking those knots being right there, because it's giving us some, it won't be as tight as I want it to be. Okay, got the knots off to the side. Okay. What we're gonna do here, no, we're not. We're gonna go here, and we'll put this one here, go over the top, draw it through, come back through here. Again, we are, oh, see, that's the worry. So you want to keep it tight, but you don't want to rip your paper. So that's always a concern. Don't pull it that hard, pull it just right enough. You know, there is a just right. If you pull it too hard, you will tear your paper. Okay, then we're going to bring it through here and through there. Now what we're going to do is we go 2 pages and we go to the very back and we're pulling it through, and we are pulling it tight, and it does create kind of a knot right there. Take the 2 pages, go through, into there. So what that's done is that's given us our first little loop. Okay. Now, I want to keep everything tight without ripping it. It is a fine line. All right, so we're taking our next page, coming over the top, coming through. So you don't want to go through it too quickly, because like I said, those threads do get tangled. It'll just frustrate you, so don't do it. Then go through the center, pull it tight, got that there. And just do 1 step at a time. There. Here, here, here. We go through here. From here, we go 2 back. We go through there. And give it a nice tight pull. 2 here. And give it a nice tight pull. So it doesn't look like much of a braid yet, but as you go along, it will look more and more like the book. So this goes over, so you see how I'm doing that? Because over here, you know, just be sure that the way that you set up your book makes sense to you. Go over the top, pull it through under, and loop it in. We go through the top, loop it under, make it go through the middle of the 2 strands. See? There we go. Now we're gonna go, and somehow these are all kind of uneven, even after I so carefully measured them. So here you can see we have that nice loop. All right, so now we're going 2 back. We're gonna pull it through. Why are you doing that? There you go. Loop it. Okay, so you guys should have a pretty good idea of where it's at. I'm just going to put you on fast forward here, and you know, but I've done 4 pages, right? Be sure that you are pulling them tight, especially when you're doing that extra looping. That's when you really want to make sure that you're getting a nice tight binding on there, okay? Through the top. Okay, artists, so as you can see, we just have to kind of move these braids to be in a nice straight line, or wonky line, or however you want them. I want mine to basically line up pretty straight. So see how that gorgeous braid, let's see if you can see that. Isn't that awesome? It is. It's awesome. All right, so basically we're gonna go around the front, over the top, pull it through the center. If it's overlapped like that, go through the bottom part of it. You gotta trust me on that. Okay, over the top, go back under, pull it through, grab the center, and yoink on it. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go 2 back, 2. Okay, so that one has its loop already, so we need to put a loop in this one. Give it a nice tight pull. A loop in this one. Come back around, through and out, right through there. Give it a nice, super tight pull. All right, so you basically still have one more loop that you need to do. So we're going to go through the top again, underneath. Oh, this is the second one here, right? That's the second one. Go through the center. Pull it nice and tight. Go through the top again. Come underneath. As it's pulling, go through the center. Pull it nice and tight. Okay, so we need to make a loop through that first page. So with this, we're going to go right here. Ta-da! We're going to go right here. We're going to make a nice, tight loop. Okay. So, now we got to figure out a way to tie it off. On the back, we just hid the strings. We could hide the strings on it, or we can leave the strings showing, which I kind of like that. I want to have strings. If you don't want to have strings, I wouldn't suggest to do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to do one quick little knot here, there, one quick little slip knot here. Makes a nice clean knot, but that will not hold. Come on. You could put a drop of glue on that for sure, and that might work. I'm going to pull it through one more time here. I'm going to cut it off here. I'll pull one of these out. Gonna tie a square knot. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we're gonna pull it through one more time here. And pull one of them back out. Here. And here. Now, I'll probably cut down these strings a little bit. Maybe. Maybe I'll add more strings. I don't know. Okay. So as you can see, we've got the loop of the first page. Loops on the second page. Third page. 4, 5, 6, 7. See the loops? 8, 9, 10. We got our back ones, which now we could actually pull these knots through and bring them down there. And bring them around. Oh, that one didn't get quite as tight as I would have liked it, but it's pretty darn close. So that is how we do the modified Coptic stitch braid Coptic Binding Braid stitch. Well, let me know what you guys think down in the comments, okay? Patreons, we are going to do something fun with this little 10-page book, and hopefully something interesting will happen from it. I could cut those smaller, but you know, maybe I'll just wait and see what happens with the book through time. I might want to put some dangly on it or something, but that is how we got this. You just have to be patient, take your time, and do it really nice and tight. Those are the key things. Okay. And try to set up a rhythm while you're doing it. Do each step one at a time. You know, just try to make sure, see now that knot is not staying. So is this knot not going to stay? Well, let's put some glue on it, just a drop. Just a little half a drop. Maybe that will help it not be such a naughty boy. Ha ha ha. Okay guys, well that's how you make it. And Patreons, if you want to play along, make up your little 10-page little book. Okie dokie. We'll chat soon. Love you guys.